Okay. So, real quick, you have a custom action bar, yeah?
Yeah, what's that? What's a custom action bar?
Or, well, whatever this is, right? What is this? Your feature, what do you call that?
Yeah, I don't know. Command line, command bar.
Command?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, um, I was looking at how to insert a photo, and I used the help, and I don't have the image. Or yeah, it's like a little mountain or something like that, and I don't have that.
Okay. All right. So hit S, hit Shift 7 on your keyboard. Okay. Now I know what your shape looks like. One of the problems that you're having is that images go in sketches. So you need to, and I have a sketch dedicated to an image. I don't have a geometry and the sketch. So you need to create, there you go, create it. Now go up to the drop down menu that has Dexcom or DXF over to the right,
Okay.
over to the left. There it is. And there's the little mountain. You
Oh,
got to
there
be
it
in a
is.
sketch. Click on sketch. Now you need to import the image. So say import, go down to import. And yeah, you put it in documents or
I mean, I know it's on my desktop, so that was real quick. Okay.
so now you need to pick on Stirling engine. No, no, the other Stirling engine .png, not that one. No.
Oh, my bad.
So
Sorry,
go
I went.
back to Part Studio 1 down at the bottom. Okay, and you need to insert the image again. And there's one, that image now. Now's the time when it's asking you to draw a rectangle. Draw, click and draw a rectangle. Pick, there it is. All right, now you can move it around by just picking one of the corners. And that's pretty dang close. That's probably about as close as you're gonna. Now, what I would do is I'd put a dimension on the top dash line, D, place it, yeah, and change it to 130, 131. So double click on one, nope, 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 escape out of that. The aspect ratio is what you're controlling there. It will work properly without a second dimension, only one. So double click that. Hit the up arrow key on your keyboard and keep going until it's about as good as it's going to get. That's probably it, huh? Okay, that's.
What do you think would be a better fit? Oh, that's kind of outline. Okay.
Okay, now click some. Okay, now you position it, move the box around, and make sure that it's exactly on your circle, or make sure that they match up.
I
Now
think this
you
is
need to
the
grab
outer side.
the edge of the image, grab the blue, and move it around.
Should I grab a corner?
Yeah. And drag it.
I am trying. I don't know what. Oh, am I still in dimension? Okay.
And then you want to make sure that you get it centered.
Is that, what do you think?
That looks good enough to me. Look, it'll never be perfect. And the problem is you have parallax. Taking a picture of something usually isn't very good.
Yeah.
So, but this is probably about as good as it's going to get. You can just say okay to sketch, rename sketch 5 to image. Say okay, drag it to the top of the tree above sketch 1. Okay, now edit sketch one, double click sketch one. And that's weird, what's on sketch one? Say cancel, edit sketch two. No. So now you're starting to see how you can use that image to create. Now watch this. Edit, double click on sketch three. Just double click on sketch three. You don't have to exit out of the sketch. If you double click, it'll do it. I really like that because it's so fast just to go through this stuff.
Yeah, it was almost immediate.
Yeah. So, okay, so now you've got a sketch. That's how I put stuff in here. And it's never perfect, but sometimes it's as good as we get. Okay, so now let's go to so sweep. I think what we need to do is go to sketch 4, right? Yeah. And is this what you want to work on?
Yeah.
All right, so instead of doing it this way.
Should I get rid of all this junk?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Should I just delete the sketch?
No, just delete what's in it.
Is there a quick hotkey for that, or just select all?
Yeah, zoom out a little bit. Yeah.
And do I go this way?
Yeah, that would be better because then if it's crossing it, it'll catch it. And hit the delete key on your keyboard. And now it's cleared. Hit the F key on your keyboard. Hit the P key on your keyboard. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas.
What's the difference between F and N? Does F center it into the middle of your? Well, I guess it's not. Oh yeah, I mean, in your workspace.
Yeah. So rotate the part a little bit. Hit F. F just zooms all.
Okay.
Click the image, just the gray.
The gray.
No, hit the gray line. Hit one of the dashed lines that shows you where the image is. Now hit the N key. N.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Well, what it should do is go normal to that. Just unhighlight that. Hit N. There it is. Oh, hit the N key.
It is. I
It
did.
goes normal because you're in a sketch. It'll go normal to the sketch.
Okay.
If you're in a 3D, you can pick a plane, hit N, and it'll go normal to the plane that you've selected.
Yeah, that's the only time I've used it.
Yeah, and it works really well. There's some things about it that I really like. Okay, so let's go ahead and hide image up on the top, hide it. Okay, and I want to clean up this geometry a little bit. What was sketch one? Can you double click on sketch one?
It should be the circle. Does that mean nothing's in it?
I would think so. So go ahead, go back to sketch one. Double click it.
I am.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, so maybe this just.
Yeah, so go ahead, get out of it and delete it. Okay, double click sketch two. And rename it to size. You can rename it up there. You have to hit the pencil, resize, or size. Say yes, accept. Okay, double click sketch three. That would be profile.
Oh, sorry. There it is.
And then Okay, so let's get on top of sketch. Your rollback bar, put it underneath sweep 1. There you go. Now we need to, we're going to use size, and we're going to do an extrusion. So you can highlight, okay, exit out of size. Okay. Do an extrude. Pick size. Go click pick size. Okay. And you want to do symmetric. So instead of blind, symmetric. And you want to do 2 millimeters. And say okay. All right. Now it becomes a subtraction to do whatever we do a sketch 4. Can you take part 1 and call it wheel? So go down to part up, up, up. There you go. And then you can rename Part Studio to layout or something like that. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now we kind of know what we're doing. Go ahead and create a folder called components or something down there. Hit the plus key down at the bottom and create a folder down there, up, yep. And say components, stuff, crap, I don't know. And then drag Stirling engine into that. Okay, and drag your assembly over in front of the layout. Okay, and then rename assembly top.
Why top? Because I've used that multiple times.
So a lot of times, look, all you have are assemblies in a CAD system, and there's 500 assemblies. Which one's the top?
Okay.
So you need to designate it unless you have a file management system like with SolidWorks. It's a real problem that if you don't have a PDM system, you don't know what the top level is. So a lot of people will put the word top in there just so that you know of these 100 assemblies, this one is my top layer.
What would come next?
Doesn't matter. All you need to know is how to get into the top level, and then you can navigate down to all the bottoms. Okay. Other than that, you got a 99% chance that you're going to be somewhere down inside the tree.
Yeah.
And
okay.
it's difficult to get back up to the top. You need to know where you need to know where the entry point is into any database. And this is a big topic, way beyond where we're at right now. But if I've got 6 engineers working forever, it's going to be a huge database structure, and being able to navigate through it is, if you architect it right, it's really easy to navigate and you get stuff done very quickly. If it grows and nobody's in charge, that's where there's problems. So there's a concept of the top level, and it's the entry point side of a database. That's the reason why I named it top.
Would you say it's like top would be the heart of what you're kind of designing? So like say you're designing a car, but you're more focused on the engine. Is that where would you call that the top? Or
okay, so if you're designing the engine, then yeah, that's the top. If you're designing a wheel, that's the top. And whenever you start a project, the first thing that you should do is you should define where your top is. Yeah. Oh, I'm designing a HVAC system for the room. Oh, okay. What's your top? The room.
Yeah.
Okay. No, the building. Okay, that's your top. No, the world. Okay, that's your top. No, the university or the universe. That's the top. It's always good whenever you're defining a project scope is to define how much of it you're trying to capture as far as the data is concerned. Once again, nobody does that. Therefore, the top is always growing because we just don't know where the top is. So anyway, that's the reason why I like for you to name that top. We can always change it. If this goes into something, into a room, then the room becomes the top, and this is a component inside the room.
Got it.
I don't like it to grow that way. When I start something, I kind of want to put boundaries on it and then build that structure up from the get-go. Okay, so let's scroll down to sketch 4. And sketch 4 was defined on what? What's its reference?
This was the designs, those group, or the cutouts, and then I deleted it all, so there's nothing in it.
So double click it. All right, so the answer to my question is front plane is the reference for sketch. So everything you do is based on something. What I just asked, what is this based on? And that's referred to as the reference for sketch 4. The reason why we use this terminology is because that's what's inside the manual. And everything about solid modeling are references. Anytime the system cannot figure out what a reference is, that's what the red is on in the feature manager tree.
Is that anything related to like parent and child?
Yep. So the references have orders. So, and once a child loses a parent, then that's when things go red.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I deleted size, extrude would freak out.
Yeah.
Cool.
So typically when we start with solid modeling, I say to first-time beginners that this system is remembering everything you pick, so you pick wisely.
Okay.
And it freaks everybody out. But with time, you'll figure out what you should be picking and what you shouldn't be picking. So with this, let's turn the image on. Okay, and let's try and design one of these little pockets. So you want to sketch, you want this to look like that opening?
Yeah.
All right, so this is what I wanted to go over with you. If I go into the sketch, one of the problems you're going to have with a spline is trying to make this radius.
Yeah.
Trying to make this radius. So don't do that. So I'm going to create this shape and then I'll let you create it. So I'm going to end that. Now you see it made an assignment, right? So if I click on that, it's on that. So you need to be careful. One of the ways that you get around that is if you hit the shift key, right? It won't make any assignments, okay? And then the next thing that you can do is from here to here. Now this one has one inflection point, so I should be able to do that with this, right? So there we go. And then let me draw the last one. It almost looks like it has another inflection point, right? So a spline is, thing grab that. So you got to be real careful because it likes to grab stuff. It's real sticky. On shape is. So it's a third order equation. Third order equation means there's two inflections. The maximum you can do with a spline is an S because it's a third order curve. If you need it to do more than that, you must use multiple nodes. And mathematically. And then you can say these two are tangent. Okay.
And
so
then, that changes the geometry. So like, how would you do tangent before you start designing? Because like, say you've got a nice curve and then you hit tangent and you just lose it all.
Um, yeah, you've played around with splines quite a bit. So this is my point here. I see this and I see one inflection point. Therefore, I know that I can represent this as a spline. I don't see anything in this design that has a very complex curve, right? This curve shape goes down here, one inflection point. So let's say I want to represent this whole piece here with one spline. You see the part that I'm drawing on my screen?
Yeah.
That would require multiple segments of a spline. And the way that I make that determination is here's an inflection, that's one. Here's an inflection, that's one. Here's an inflection, that's one. That's another one, another one, another one, another one. You can very quickly say, I can represent this shape with one spline, but it's going to have multiple segments. It is very rare that I use 3-noded splines. 90% of the time that I'm using surfaces, I am using a 2-noded spline.
Okay, that's the same practice I use too. So
yeah. So, but when you're looking at geometry on the screen, you need to look at the number of inflection points, and that's going to kind of dictate what your spline is going to look like. It's most of the time I'll break it down into this, okay, into single splines, and I control.
what about like an arc?
I stay away from arcs and watch what I'm going to do next, okay? So let me continue on. So I'm going to go here to here. And I'm going to try to get these to match up to that shape. Now, notice how it's also picking up vertical. So if I hold the shift key down, it stops that crap.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah, that is annoying.
Yeah, a lot of times that I'm dragging splines around, I want to, so let me drag that over a little bit, move that up a little bit. And I'm holding the shift key down now, so I'm stopping all its nastiness. And let me drag that over. All right, and that's probably good enough for the purpose of this discussion right now. All right, you like that? Yep.
Well, what about the edges?
So you got to keep in mind that Onshape is solving each sketch. Okay.
Okay.
It'll get totally out of control if I put those arcs all in one sketch. So their sketches are free. Your existing reference was front. I'm going to create another one and keep the same reference. Okay, so now all of this stuff is on the same. So we can just call this arcs, and we can just call this one up here splines. And there are instances in life when you just have to control one and then the other. How do I get those over here? I'm just going to say use them. That's the U key. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to force it to figure out what the arcs are. And to do that, I need it to do a fillet. Where's fillets? Fillets. And we'll make them, they're probably all different. But anyway, let's try with a consistent. Yeah, see, we're going to end up and now I'm going to hit the N key. Yeah. Escape 5. All right. So something tells me that these need to be all different radii. So with that, all you need to do is you just need to sit down here, click on it, and it just automatically made equivalencies.
Yeah, okay.
I defined them all at the same time. I can drag that down. You see how I can drag these arcs now?
Yeah,
if
yeah.
that was all in one sketch, it's out of control. So
yeah.
break your sketches up. So there's that.
Awesome.
And in fact,
okay.
I don't even want that. So
Yeah.
I was working for this guy
for me.
This is a funny story. I got to tell it to you. So I was working with this industrial designer, and I mathematically computed all of these veins in the back of this helmet. And he looked at them and he goes, "Those look like crooked teeth." And I threw all the dimensions out and I just tried to make it look good. Came back the next day and he goes, "Oh, that looks good." So many times when you're doing this industrial stuff, you don't need to put numbers down, right? It's all about the look. So there's that. Now, with that being said, you can do this in one of two ways. You can pattern the sketch, or you can pattern the feature. If you're a Pro E guy, you're going to go do features, because they've always said that features are more stable than
That was the only way I could actually get it to pattern, is using the
Yeah.
feature.
Yeah, and then the other is true, is sometimes you can only have one way to make it work. So since this is in the middle, I need to go both directions, or I just say through all, and then in the second direction through all. And then I want to merge all. We only have one up there, and bring it up. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's do the, here. You take control. What are you doing in my original splines? You don't like them?
I haven't touched anything. I mean, this is what was selected when I started full screening.
Okay, so what ended up happening is when I took control, you were editing the sketch and it just left it there. And then I made all the changes to the sketches and your sketch updated. And yeah, so there you go. All right, now let's let you do this. You want to pattern that thing. So you're going to pattern the feature, not the sketch. Circular, yeah. Circular pattern. And now, yeah, you got to change that.
Okay, here we go.
And what are you going to pattern? Here, let me tell you why it didn't work last time, okay? Change feature pattern back to part pattern. Okay. Part pattern is probably the least you'll ever use, yet it's the default. And, you know, people have complained about this. The one that people use the most is click on part pattern again and change it to feature pattern.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those issues I have because, like, you know, I just get a red indicator.
Yeah. And as long as it's part, it's not going to work. You got to make sure, you got to remember to switch it over to feature. So go ahead and click on the extrude to, because that's a feature.
Okay.
And now axis of pattern, since this is, yeah, almost anything will give it. Now, but here, okay, so you picked an edge. Okay. How solid is that edge? How good of a reference was that edge?
Well, let's see if it seemed to have worked, but
you know, you could pick that edge, you could pick the sketch, you could pick the origin. I'm just going over with you, when you pick a reference, how good is it? So let's just assume that was the best edge possible. And whenever you select something, I'm always going in my mind, how robust is this reference?
Got it. Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and say, okay. All right. And I would say that's a pretty good looking part.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So what if you wanted to put a little fillet around all of those edges? How would you do that?
Would I go back into one of these sketches, or?
No, I don't think you can. What you want to do is to right mouse click on extrude to, and you want to roll here, roll to here, and now you want to put in a small little fillet.
Okay.
And so go into your fillet command.
Is that?
Yeah, it's over on the left. Yeah, I got it. I got it
Oh,
correct.
sorry, my bad. I was looking for the image that you clicked earlier.
Okay. Well, okay. So there's sketch fillets and there are solid fillets. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what's the reference for this fillet? No, no. So what I want you to do is I want you to see, I want you to rotate it so that you can see it, one of the faces. And that one face right there, I want you to pick the face.
Okay. Does that work?
And now zoom in because it's picking the edge. Okay, and now pick that. And change your fillet to 1, radius 1. Okay.
Okay, I see.
Okay, hold on here. Let's go through the same old exercise. What's the reference for the fillet?
Uh,
The reference for the fillet is the face of extrude 2.
oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay. And the reason why I picked that as the reference is because it fillets the face, right?
Oh, I get what you're saying. And is that
And,
why it goes all the way around?
and then with tangent propagation, it goes all the way around. So
Okay.
what's the reference for this fillet? It's that face. And the cool thing of it is one face. Now the other side of this is when you pick that one face, you want to pick one of the biggest faces. Those things that are very big tend to stay around longer, making it more robust. I could go in and pick an arc, but if the guy gets rid of the arc, then the fillet fails. So I'm constantly thinking, what's the biggest? What's going to stick around? Let's change the fillet to 0.7 and just say okay. Now go ahead and roll your bar back down to the bottom. Edit your circular feature. And pick the fillet 1.
So this is adding that feature to the
Yeah.
pattern.
Say okay.
Okay, got it.
All right. So this is what I do all the time. So let's go ahead and put all that stuff up inside of a folder called wheel.
Okay. Sorry. Oops.
Yeah. I think I would have included the sketches, but you know,
Oh, sorry. Is
that's
these
neither right nor wrong. You can drag them into wheel.
what about image? Should I just leave that alone?
Yeah, you can leave that outside. Like I say, that's just your user's preference.
And then so what for this part right here, see this what I'm hitting or mousing over?
Yeah.
Would I just completely start something new? So like say I get to the assembly, I could just throw it in there and just have multiple parts, or how would you go about it?
I would put everything, I'd put this whole geometry set inside of one part studio. But
Okay.
right now, this is where everybody's struggling. How many part studios do I want to create when I'm working on a project?
Yeah. I meant you mentioned that, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, so me, because this is training and it's not that serious. I would probably build all this geometry up. When this is a real production world and we're going to be sending the wheel out to one manufacturer, we're going to be sending the sheet metal out to another manufacturer. This is when we start deciding how we're going to break up the part studio.
Got it.
We just don't have all the information needed to really understand the best way to do that. Looking at this, I would not model those bolts inside of this part studio. Those bolts are going to come in via the assembly.
Okay.
As a little exercise, let's go to your top level assembly and let's bring the wheel in. Yeah. Let's go up there.
Up the
Yeah.
reposition or
Hit Control Z on your keyboard. And just click on wheel and go up and say, okay. No, there you go.
is the origin already assigned? Is that like
Yes. Just
assigned
don't go
origin?
messing around on the screen. And now fix it. Okay. You can fix it for now, but eventually you're going to fix something else and then have this wheel rolling, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's
Can I?
end this. Hey, let's end this. And I think you got enough to finish off the Stirling.
Okay.
And unless you have other questions.
I don't. Just real quick, can we make this thing spin?
No, because you don't have anything to spin it about.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Okay. So you bring that other part, you bring it in, put a hole in the tube. Here, go
Okay.
back to your layout. Design that little bracket.
Okay.
Bring that into the model.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're gonna have a problem with that bracket because it's not centered on your origin right now. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, you need to work all that out. Move the image over and draw it. First, you may need the image a couple of times in there so that you can do it.
Okay.
Fix the bracket. You need to put a hole in your wheel and then assemble your wheel to the bracket that's now fixed. And then you need to do a revolve, or you need to put in a revolve mate.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck. Let me know how this all turns out. Okay. We need a grand finale on this video, so we'll just show the Stirling engine working.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.